Hey yo everybody, it's Johnny5 Alive here. Today we're going to be talking about Stormgate. Been playing for several hours now and have done all of the available content that's in the early access version of the game. Just wanted to give you all my first impressions and overall thoughts. Stormgate is now officially launched into early access as of June 30th for those who bought the early access packs. The game is going free to play in early access in just only 2 weeks from now on August 13th. Basically, the early access packs grant you your money's worth in co-op heroes, some cosmetics, and the bonus of the 2-week head start. I did check, these heroes are like $13 on the store, and with the early access pack, you get 3 of them. So if you're wanting to play early, you definitely get your money's worth just from the heroes alone. The head start is sort of a bonus, plus you're helping to support these amazing developers in Frostgiant Studios. So let's dive into the actual content the game has to offer. Currently in early access, the game comes with a few campaign missions for the Vanguard faction, a 3-player co-op mode with specialty commanders or heroes, which again came with the early access packs or can be bought separately for $13 each. And lastly, you have your standard 1v1 competitive mode with a ladder and ranking system already integrated into the core game. Both co-op and 1v1, you have access to all 3 factions, the Vanguards, Hellborn, and Celestials. Let's start off with the first thing I tried in the early access, which is the campaign. The game presents some solid cinematics, a fun story, and compelling characters right out of the get-go. The vibe I get from the overall art aesthetic and graphics is almost best described as Blizzard with a friendly Pixar overcoat. I very much enjoyed the look and aesthetic of everything in the game so far. The first mission of the campaign had some fun dialogue as you start to traverse through, but I quickly ran into a funny bug. I got stuck in a tree. Yes, here I am, stuck in a tree. Right out of the rip too. Great introduction to the game. There is no autosave or checkpoints during the campaign, so I was forced to restart the mission after being stuck in said tree. Upon restarting, I played through a good chunk of the mission and I was having a pretty average experience. I have to say that I'm not the biggest fan of RTS campaigns. I did enjoy the Wings of Liberty StarCraft 2 campaign due to all its like upgrades and RPG elements. However, it is undetermined yet if Stormgate will have anything remotely close to that of StarCraft 2's RPG campaign. But the good news is that Stormgate will eventually have a campaign that is 2 to 3 player co-op. What's even better is only one of those 3 players actually need to buy the mission packs for all 3 to play. So if I buy it, I can invite any of my friends to come play through the campaign with me, and they do not need to purchase it, which is very, very cool. I think playing a campaign with friends will certainly make the experience a lot more enjoyable. Anyways, back to my experience. I eventually got booted from the game and put back into the main menu so that Frostgiant could inform me that the store is having issues. Yeah, that's right. My single player experience got interrupted by the online message board updates. Again, with no autosaves, saving options, or checkpoints, I was forced to yet again restart the level. And again, another notification to the message board pulls me out of my single player game for a 3rd time, which I just, at that point, gave up on the campaign and decided it was best to move on to something else. So I do look forward to checking the campaign out again, but I'm gonna wait until these disconnect message board things get sorted out. Next up, we have for the co-op mode. Co-op mode is similar to StarCraft 2's co-op commander mode, if anyone is familiar with that. The thing that makes co-op special in these games is your hero or commander. Each faction has different heroes to level up outside of the game. So you level them up, they gain new stuff, and when you go into a new mission, they have new abilities, new units, new things, new powers, all sorts of cool stuff, but they don't actually level up within the game itself. It's outside that they level up, and then you bring those powers into the next game. So it is like kind of an additive, continual progression system for the actual co-op mode. So this gives your favorite faction a ton more replayability and diversity as they can continue to add more heroes to your favorite factions. The heroes themselves are specialty units with their own unique powers, used for the early game exploration and creep camp takeovers. The hero itself will bring flavor to your faction. So one of the things I'll get on my hero Amara later on when I hit level 3 or 4 is I will get a new unit that you can't normally play with in the regular competitive version of the game, which I find really, really cool. It's going to add a whole lot of replayability, and I'm pretty excited to see what they do with this mode in the future. So jumping into my first game here, I obviously had no idea how to play or what I was doing. So before jumping in, I enabled what was called Buddy Bot mode. I wanted to see how good the AI assisted gameplay would be, so I could just focus on running around with my hero and killing stuff. Buddy Bot mode is very interesting. It will basically do all the macro aspects of the game for you, meaning it will build supplies, train units, make buildings, unlock new tech and upgrades. It will even expand your bases all on its own to gather new resources and materials. This is going to be extremely helpful for newer players, as I found it extremely helpful for me. I had no idea what I was doing, and the game was basically playing itself. RTS games are infamously overwhelming because not only do you have to macro build a base, but you also have to micro your units around, explore, and fight all simultaneously. Buddy Bot does half of the work for you, allowing you to focus a little bit more on the fun aspects such as strategy and combat. Buddy Bot was so good that I didn't even realize until later in the match that it made a forward base expansion for me with factories, and it was pumping out hedgehogs piling up into one area. I had a whole pile of these units just sitting there that Buddy Bot was constructing. I had no idea. So if you do plan on using Buddy Bot, it's not a bad idea to keep an eye on your mini map to see where your colors have expanded to, because Buddy Bot's going to be moving all over the map making stuff. And what isn't a bad idea is to set a hotkey to select all army units on the board. I know a lot of pros will recommend to not do this, but in the beginning when Buddy Bot's making all these units all over the map and you have no idea where they are, having a hotkey that selects all units isn't a terrible idea when using Buddy Bot. That way you can just grab everything on the map and run it towards your objective or your enemy. So yeah, this first game with the assistance from Buddy Bot made my experience actually pretty enjoyable, as I didn't feel like I was falling behind or confused or overwhelmed by the amount of options. Instead, I was just running around with my stuff, doing things, and Buddy Bot was just making more stuff. I didn't have to think or learn or figure the game out. I was able to just focus on fighting and movement and exploration, which was genuinely pretty fun. So we played that game through, and my next game, I decided to turn up the difficulty a little bit and turn Buddy Bot off and try to figure out a new hero, this time with the Amara hero. For this match, I'm now forced to hotkey my own buildings, my own units, both macro and micro, all while figuring out what the heck these buildings and units do. Due to my experience with StarCraft 2, I was able to use my basic knowledge for RTS games to generally wing it and just made stuff while attempting to keep my resources as low as I possibly could with everything that was going on, while also running around the map killing stuff and trying out this new hero. Overall, very good experience. And with my personal experience, I found that I wasn't too inefficient without the assistance of Buddy Bot, even for just my very second game ever. After this victory, I decided it was turn it up to hard mode just for shits and giggles. One thing I found interesting going into this hard mode map, I now realize that all of these co-op missions are different from one another, and I don't think it's related to difficulty, but rather randomized game modes. On this map, we had like this day-night cycle where all the enemies attack during nighttime, and objectives are done during the daytime. This mode felt very much like a turret defense game, and I thought it was really fun and engaging. Due to not knowing what I was doing, and likely the same for my random allies that I've been partnered with, and also being on this harder difficulty, we eventually got overwhelmed and lost the game. This was great to see, as it was only the second hardest difficulty, meaning the AI in co-op mode is actually challenging and offers a ton of replayability and something to strive towards. And overall, my experience with co-op was fantastic. I never really played co-op Commander in StarCraft 2 because I was simply addicted to playing 1v1 ladder or 2v2 with friends. But I did hear really good things from the StarCraft 2 Commander mode, and I was really glad to see it being a fun addition here in Stormgate. My only gripe with the co-op mode is that it was designed and balanced specifically for 3 players. Normally, I play RTS games with one select friend at a time, and rarely have I ever had a situation where 2 friends were on at the same time wanting to play all together. And we would do these 3v3s in StarCraft, and it was just chaos. In fact, it was so chaotic that I found it wasn't fun. With that being said, I would love to see 2-player only co-op options so that I could just focus with one buddy and we're not stuck with some random player that we've never met and can't communicate with, especially for pushing these harder difficulties. Also, due to the maps and modes just being randomized, I feel this game mode will eventually get redundant or annoying when you get to a mode or map that you've already beaten on that difficulty and you were hoping for something else. I think a sort of mission board or progression system is a much needed addition here. I would love to work through the levels, the modes, the challenges one by one while earning unlocks, achievements, cosmetics, and all sorts of goodies for completing these said challenges, and allow us to kind of check all the boxes as we go through it and then go back and do it all again on a harder difficulty and get new stuff along the way for doing that. Luckily, all these things that I mentioned or suggest here could be added in later on, but as of right now, the mode is fun, but will be very repetitive and redundant after a dozen or so matches with friends. Moving on, we have, last but not least, the competitive 1v1 mode in early access. At this point, I still didn't know much about the game, just playing 3 co-op modes. I didn't know anything about my faction, so I was a little bit nervous going into an actual ladder ranked match, but I figured whoever the system matches me up against will be also a complete noob, hopefully. So let's Hail Mary it. Let's see what happens. What's the worst that could happen, really? Let's just go. I must say this game is missing that glorious countdown timer of anxiety that StarCraft 2 has. Beep, 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 beep. It is terrified when you hear that countdown going in StarCraft 2. And instead, this game actually just starts running randomly out of nowhere with no indication that the match has actually started, which is very jarring and surprising. Like, oh, we're going. Here we go. So I think a countdown timer would be great. And so now I'm going into this match with one goal: make stuff. Keep your resources low. First thing I noticed was that I was given a dog to start. So that's different than co-op. I suppose this is my scouting unit. However, I have no idea what's on the map or what has value and what sort of information I'm looking for. So this little scout dog wasn't very useful to me for not knowing anything about the game. So I sent the dog across the map just because I felt like I should. And I guess my enemy also has a scouting unit. So we had a little skirmish somewhere on the map and neither of us learnt anything. So what do I do from here? I guess my barracks makes dudes with swords. Sure, make those. I'm a bit scared of some sort of early rush or cheese, so I guess I'll make a bunker or something for defense. And that was kind of my goal: make a barracks, make units, make something that defends stuff. And suddenly, to my surprise, not too long after, I am already under attack. He's rushing me, and holy moly, he's got a lot of units. And upon engaging on those units, to my surprise, they were ranged attacks, and I only have melee unit, so I'm instantly in a panic here. But luckily I had that bunker thing that I made, and he would be pretty silly to push up on that. So I was able to kind of hide behind my bunker and at least not have him invade my base and kite me around. However, I was hoping to expand at this point, and my natural expansion, he's out front, camping in, and just massing up more units, keeping me pinned in my base. So my immediate thought is, oh my god, he is pinning me in my natural base while he's probably on the other side of the map expanding. And I felt like I was going downhill quickly in my first game within the first few minutes. So I know I need more stuff. I need more tech. I need something, but I have no idea what anything does. So just make shit. Make more fighters, make more stuff, put things down, go, go, go. I need to get out of my base before I'm smothered. So I made some stuff, I sent out my force, and to my surprise, I actually managed to outnumber him and scare him off. So at this point, I decide, since I got these melee guys, let's get the upgrade for them. It makes them faster or do something good, I think. We now have unlocked the ability to do medics. So we start training some medics and shooty boys. All right, I'm starting to make stuff. I have a natural expansion. I have no idea what my opponent is doing. And when I last saw him, he had more stuff than me. My fear is that he's already expanded, he has an economic lead, and it's all gonna snowball in his favor at this moment. So I need to shift the momentum. How do I do that? Let's just Hail Mary all in. So I figured just grab everything I have, throw it across the map, and see what happens and what kind of information I can gather upon reaching the other side. Arriving at his base, he has some weird defensive towers shooting at me that seem terrifying. He's built up some sort of wall preventing my melee guys from properly pushing up the ramp, and he has a whack load of units, and oh boy do they look scary. To hell with it, let's just go up, let's just die on my sword, push up that choke, even if it means losing right here, right now. And oh wow, I notice I'm having success doing this. And to my surprise, I push through his front gates, and he calls GG. I won my first game and got placed into what appears to be Bronze League or something. And that was pretty fun. I had a pretty good time in my first ever match, not knowing what I was doing. And I thought that was just going to be a terrible idea, right? But we're all learning the game at the same time. I'm getting matched up against someone that doesn't know what they're doing. So, you know, just learn and have fun and see what happens. It's better than playing against a bot, I guess, right? So yeah, that's like a complete overview and look at my first day of playing Stormgate. It was a pretty solid experience. Obviously, the campaign issues were a huge miss, but it seems like it will be fun, especially once the co-op is introduced to the campaign. So, and then once more mission packs come. I'll check that out in a later date. I suspect the campaign will be very good. We just didn't really get to look at it that well today. The 3-player co-op feels fun enough, even though I was playing with random people. I think once I get like a buddy in there, it'll be a lot better. I do think it lacks some sort of progression system. Yeah, your hero levels up after each game or whatever, and they get new stuff, but there's no like progression outside of that. Like I want to earn some skins, I want to earn some pets, or I want to, you know, achievements, whatever. Like I want to see what the mission lists are, what the objectives are, what kind of things I can achieve by doing them. Maybe I can earn a cool player icon, like I don't know, stuff. I want things and goals and things to work towards. Just this like, oh, you're on a random map playing with that hero that you're leveling up, do something, beat it, and then do it again. That's just too shallow for me at this moment. 1v1 seems to be working as intended, as it should, and this is where most people will spend their time. So good to see that that's all working and working well. But where do I go from here, right? What do I do next? To summarize my whole experience today, I'll say that I'm glad to have supported the developers by buying the early access pack. I still have high hopes for the game. I really enjoyed myself on the first day, and I plan to play it more and even message my buddy to come join me. But I do get this feeling I won't be getting deep into the game until the full release, at least in its current state. Until they develop or add more things along the way in early access, I feel like what's out of the box isn't quite enough for me, other than just popping on once in a while to have like a good 1v1 match. If you're interested in the game, you'll have a lot of fun if you're like a hardcore RTS fan that enjoys 1v1 competitive ladder. You will get a lot out of this experience. experience. If you're on the fence, the game is going free to play August 13th. You don't have to buy in. You can hop in and play with a friend for free, try out that co-op mode, play skirmishes, you know, have 1v1s, and you should have generally a pretty good time with no risk because it will be free to play. Try it for yourself and come to your own conclusions. I think the real juice of the game has yet to be seen. I know they have a lot of plans and game modes and cool ideas for the battle chests and battle passes and progression systems, all the juicy fun stuff that you're supposed to earn while playing, the things to look forward to, the medals to unlock, and all the achievements and stats and back-end profile stuff. All that like just doesn't exist in the game right now, and they plan on adding that down the road. I think that's going to add a lot to the gameplay loop in terms of like feeding your internal reward systems that you're looking for in a game. So yes, I definitely give it a thumbs up, and with all of the things I mentioned that are to come, I'm gonna probably give it a double thumbs up later on. I recommend it if you're an RTS fan, and if you're just like looking to check it out, wait till the game goes free to play in a couple weeks and just hop in with a buddy, and I think you'll have fun with the co-op mode. I look forward to seeing future updates in the early access. Hopefully they add in new modes that'll get me more engaged with some of the content with my friends. I'll give you guys an update in the future, so be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed the video, hit a like. There you go, ladies and gentlemen, my thoughts on Stormgate's early access. I'm Johnny5Alive. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now.